gentlemen, to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. It is Sunday night, June 23rd, about 9:42 Central Time, my time. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this live or if you're watching it after it uploads, if you're watching it after it uploads, when you have a small show that's growing, live shows are kind of hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes you can hit, sometimes you can miss. So I'm hoping tonight it's a hit. Sunday night, I wanted to go live last night or Friday night. I didn't have the time. But this channel's growing and it's going to get to where it's going to get to. But I can't get there without TC Nation's help, guys. I'm 92 subs away from 500. When I hit 500, I have a Rookie of the Year Emmitt Smith card giveaway. When I hit 1,000, I have a Larry Allen autographed football giveaway to celebrate the 1,000th subscriber. 92 away from 500, guys. I can't get there without y'all. Remember that. So I don't, I've got some fire to get into right now, but right before that, I don't have a bell like Mike Fisher does. But on the count of three, guys, in unison, if we can hit that red sub button, it is free. It costs you nothing. It's a free investment. In the future, if you don't like my content, you can unsubscribe. Again, costs you nothing, guys. I implore you, hit that red subscribe button. This show will blow up and become one of the shows you look forward to watching too, like the Law Nations or the Mike Fishers or the Mark Holmes of the world. This show will reach those kind of plateaus. First game was Super Bowl 28 against Buffalo that I watched. Been following the Cowboys ever since. Saw us lose against San Fran 94, beat Pittsburgh in Super Bowl 30. I was in third grade. Played the game my entire youth. Been a student of the game my entire life. Been a student of the Cowboys for about 30 years now. And the Joneses. On the count of three, guys, hit the red subscribe button in unison. 1, 2, 3, boom. Subscribe if you did it. You're a real one, and I love you for it. That like button just helps the video get viewed more. It pops up on feeds. It usually wouldn't. If it has a lot more likes. On the count of three, guys, hit that thumbs up button. 1, 2, 3, boom. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. Now I'm going to get into what I'm going to get into. If it hits the 5 to 10 minute mark and there's really not much activity as far as people participating, then I'll just exit out and do a regular video. Last two live shows went pretty good. I had 150 and then like 90, which for a small show is not bad. So first thing to address. Now, I can't cut videos every day right now like all these other channels are doing because there's nothing to talk about unless you make up stuff to talk about. I can't make up stuff to talk about. It drives me nuts talking about hypotheticals or who wrote this column or who wrote that column, and it's all crap. Like the report that came out that Mike McCarthy's upset and fed up with the front office. All mumbo jumbo. Mike McCarthy wants nothing more in his life than to win this year, win big on the biggest stage in the world of sports. Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones go hand in hand like yin and yang. He's a perfect coach, and Jerry Jones, is what it is. First topic we get into is the two guys that we brought on board from the UFL. Linebacker, another linebacker, this boy Willie Harvey, and quarterback Gary Conley. Now, we've grabbed guys from other leagues, and it's worked out so far. Special teams. We got a return man who is starting to become more of the offense now, being that he was in last season more on the offense, wide receiver, end around guy, dangerous return man, and it looks like that we found our new Dan Bailey and Brandon Aubrey. So we bring on Willie Harvey, linebacker, Gary Conley, former first-round pick in 2017. Now, Gary Conley is 28 years old, probably turned 29 this season. Him and Willie Harvey, about the same age. Now, we have a lot of linebackers. We're bringing on a lot of linebackers. And I know in a 4-3 scheme, you got three linebackers. I don't know why we're bringing on so many linebackers right now. I mean, if you go down the depth chart, right now it's Eric Kendricks, Damone Clark, DeMarvion Overshawn, the rookie from Notre Dame. One other guy that's not catching my mind right now. And then this new guy, Willie Harvey, has 6 backers right there. When this league, Logan Password, thank you for joining in, my man. Tell me what you disagree about the amount of linebackers that we're bringing on, because I think right now we have 6 or 7 on the roster. Now I know on first down, a lot of times it's a running down and you bring out a 4-3 defense. But in this passing league, a lot of times, you're going to come out nickel, big nickel, one of the two. Dark Monkey. I've got Tourette's. No, I did not fart. I've got Tourette's, so it manifests itself in like coughs and whatnot. Dark Monkey. I'm not sick. Tourette syndrome is just everybody's got something. It's just what I've got. 92 subs away from 500. When I hit 500, I have an Emmitt Smith Rookie of the Year card giveaway. Subscribe, guys, and when y'all get that card, when I hit 1,000, I've got an autographed Larry Allen football giveaway. My prizes are going to be a hell of a lot better than the other channel's prizes. I guarantee you that. Oh, Dark Monkey, I feel good, man. It's just a condition I've had since I was a kid. It's never going to go away. I take Xanax for it. It is what it is. But, okay, Logan Password, you just wanted to say something. Okay. Well, we bring on Willie Harvey and Garyon Conley, 2 guys from the UFL. We've had good luck getting guys from other leagues. As I just mentioned, our 2 guys, Turpin and Aubrey. My prediction out of the 2 guys that we just brought on, Willie Harvey and Garyon Conley. Conley was highly touted coming out 2017. First round pick 24. He's 6 foot, 190 pounds. In the combine, he ran a 4.4440, which is pretty fast. Pretty good for a corner. I mean, it's good size, good speed for a corner. He's 28 now, so he probably is not as fast as he was. Played pretty good in the NFL, had injury history. Went to the UFL and kind of balled out. Him and DeAndre Baker, a other former first round pick, battled it out, and DeAndre Baker's just bad, and Conley beat him out easily. I think between the 2, Garyon Conley is going to really help out this defense. Willie Harvey, not so much, in my opinion. Say, hey, Hamza, quit spamming on there, man. I don't even know what that says. Yeah, Kelly Keegan. Jerry Jones is who he is. I think Stephen Jones needs to be locked in a room. If we could get the old Jerry Jones back, the 90s Jerry Jones for a season or 2, a guy that's not afraid to open up the checkbook, then we could really bring on some key guys from outside the organization that could really make an impact. Stephen Jones is the one that tries to handcuff the salary cap and what we spend. And we're so worried about the future, so worried about going bankrupt in the salary cap. The future is now. You want to win now. 3 straight 12-5 seasons, 1 playoff win. Cowboys would never win a Super Bowl with Jerry Jones. Well, Kelly, we did win 3 of them with him. But, he also had a Hall of Fame coach in Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson kind of built that team based on the Herschel Walker trade. Hands up. I've got Tourette's, my man, so it kind of makes me cough. Okay, you could just be a troll, whatever. But Willie Harvey might make the team. It'd be special teams if he does, but it don't look like we're going to bring back Gilmore, right? And everybody really wanted to bring back Gilly. Gilly, played pretty well last season for his age. Coming off shoulder surgery, he's going to be 34. Still unsigned. But I think Garyon Conley I think if he gets a second breath of life in the NFL, and our DB coach slash assistant head coach Al Harris can get him playing the way he was in 2018, 2019 with the Raiders, then he could really give us depth in the cornerback room, and we won't miss Gilmore as much as we would. Kalen Carson, our fifth round cornerback. Between him and Garyon Conley, I think will give us the depth that we need at cornerbacks. I don't think we're going to re-sign Gilmore unless Gilly comes back and signs for the veteran minimum, which I don't think he'll do. There's a team out there that'll sign him for probably $3 or $4 million. A team that really needs a corner. But between Harvey and Conley, I think Conley will have the bigger impact. And maybe could possibly, start week one. Give Trayvon Diggs time to work his way in. You think Dak's getting traded? If so, who you bet on? Quarterback. No, they're not going to trade Prescott. He's on the last year of his deal, of course. But this is the way that they handle their business. It don't make sense. It's just like CeeDee Lamb is holding out right now, and they have no progress in contract talks, right? No progress in his contract talks. But like in 2019, Tank Lawrence was holding out, and so was Ezekiel Elliott. And they waited till the last second to sign Zeke. The very last minute to sign Elliott. It's my son right there, and my wife, and my doggy. And then a little bit before Zeke, we gave Tank his deal. Elliott was the last second we brought him on, gave him the biggest contract a running back he's ever gotten. And it took Elliott about 3 or 4 games to get back into game shape. So, thanks, Kelly. Yes, this is going to be the future quarterback of the Cowboys in about 16 years. He's 6 right now, so that'll make him about 22. We'll see if that works out. But no, if Dak... Unless Trey Lance just kills it in the preseason, in all 3 games, throws for like 3 or 4 touchdowns, 400 yards. It looks amazing, and Dak gets hurt during the season, and Trey Lance comes in and just plays out of his mind. Looks like Mahomes in 18. Then Dak won't have to worry about his job. But a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, they don't grow on trees. Quarterbacks like that don't become free agents. Peyton Manning did because he was coming off a career-threatening injury. And Tom Brady did because he was like 42. And New England wanted to go a younger route. Prescott will get re-signed. Lamb will get signed during training camp probably. I wouldn't mind if Lamb got signed towards the end of training camp because therefore that he can't get hurt if he's not in training camp. Last season we had Overshawn tear his ACL in camp. It seems like every year in training camp somebody gets hurt. Sending hate from the federal government. Caden at low. Yeah. The federal government. Don't know what you mean by that, but I know I've got my preference and my ideas about the government. Is what it is. But besides Willie Harvey and Conley, I think Garyon Conley is going to make a big difference for the secondary. And Al Harris is the guy to coach him up. Al Harris has coached up Trayvon Diggs to an all-pro corner. Has coached up Deron Bland to an all-pro corner. Has made Jordan Lewis better in the slot. Anthony Get Down Brown was, one guy you couldn't help. Kelvin Joseph, his head just went in the game. He wanted to be a rapper more than a football player. So, you couldn't get through to that kid. It was just, that was dumb. I didn't look at work for the federal government, LOL. And then, so, right now, every day you're seeing videos on YouTube with these clickbait headlines. One of them says Mike McCarthy fed up, question mark, da 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 da. Right now, it's after mini camp and before training camp, unless somebody gets signed or something happens. There's really nothing to talk about unless you make up something to talk about or talk about hypotheticals. And I have trouble doing that. I don't like wasting people's time. I don't like wasting y'all's time or just checking my jaws for no reason. So when I cut a video, I like to have substance and something real to talk about. Hence, the two guys that we brought on, CD Lamb's Holdout, and a few other things I'm about to get into here on this Charles in Charge Cowboy Sports Report late night Cowboy. This brings me to my third point. Again, they say Mike McCarthy is upset. Kelly says, I cancel out the hate with love. It's a good way to go about it. What conquers darkness? Light. What conquers hate? Love. How do you beat your enemies? You kill them with kindness, right? Saying Mike McCarthy is upset. He's fed up with Jerry Jones. Fed up with the Cowboys. That's all clickbait. Whatever journalist wrote that is full of BS. It's just something for Tom Downey to talk about because the journalist wrote it. Mike McCarthy, since he controls the offense, as long as they have 88 out there for week 1, Brandon Cooks is getting better at wide receiver 2. He had a slow start in his first year. Offense, new team, new quarterback. Towards the back part of the season, he started to kick on, getting gear. Brandon Cooks will have 1,000 yards this year. Lamb will probably have around 1,700 again. And Jake Ferguson, I think, will break the 1,000-yard threshold this year in his breakout year in year 3 at tight end. Mike McCarthy, 3 straight 12-win seasons, is excited to get in there, get in a training camp, get in a regular season, make it to the postseason, and get to the chip game. Get to the chip game and then, go from there. Round 1 is not acceptable. Round 2 is not acceptable. It's NFC Championship game or bust for Mike McCarthy, and he knows it. And he wants to get there. And if he does, I guarantee you, Bill Belichick will be the Cowboys' new head coach for 2024, just like Bill Parcells was in 2003. They were both around the same age. 20 years ago, Bill was like 72, 74, something like that. Was away from the game for a couple of years. Belichick, away from the game for a year, about the same age. Imagine what Bill Belichick could do with this defense. Oh my gosh. As defensive-minded as he is, the game might have passed him up on offense, but that man can still coach defense. I mean, he was Parcells' defensive coordinator for the Giants when they won the 2 Super Bowls. He was Parcells' defensive coordinator for the Patriots when they lost to Green Bay in the Super Bowl in '96. He was the DC for the Jets under Parcells when they made it to the championship in '98. And then as head coach for the Patriots, he had that monster defense in 01, 03, and 04. That's why they won 3 of the 4 years, not because of Brady, because of that defense with Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, all them boys. Actually, Lawyer Malloy wasn't there in 03 and 04. He was there in the 01 Super Bowl. But Mike McCarthy has all the tools that he needs to get where he's got to get. We have around $14 million in cap space. We just need to bring on one more back, a scat back, and one more defensive tackle, one more body in that middle of the D-line. So, number 4, CD Lamb's Holdout. Tom Downey is upset because they haven't made any progress. Get to the Super Bowl and lose to the Chiefs. So say it the script. Kelly, I can't say I'd be mad at that. Making it to the Super Bowl, playing in February, would be something I haven't experienced since I was in 3rd grade. Defense wins championships and gets no credit. In today's NFL, it's kind of true. I mean, it's a quarterback, and when the Rams won the Super Bowl in 2021, the defense didn't get the credit, even though offense didn't play that well. Stafford had a few picks, played a bad game. In 2020, when the Bucs won the Super Bowl, it was that Tampa defense that won it for them, not really Tom Brady in the offense. Yeah, so the defense doesn't get the credit it deserves nowadays like it did back then. But it's still very prevalent in winning championships. The Chiefs defense has been playing well the last couple of years. That's why they won back-to-back Super Bowls and have a very good shot of being the first team ever to win three in a row. The best shot to do that since we had it in '94. But Tom Downey had his video upset because CeeDee Lamb isn't signed yet. They haven't made any talks. Steven had to pick up the phone and call him or his agent. He wants him signed before training camp. CeeDee Lamb knows the new offense. Last season, you saw him get 1750 through the air, 12 tubs, like 130 grabs. He's fine. Let him sit out half a training camp. That gives Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin, and dark horse receiver, our 7th-round pick last year, Brooks. That boy right there, there's something about him that you don't want to sleep on. What's his first name? Every time I do live shows, names elude me, and I got this Rolodex in my head. Our 7th-round pick last season, wide receiver, Brooks, number 83. The kid can play football. When we drafted him, I looked at his combine results. I saw he was like 6 foot nothing. His 40 was like a 4.6, 4.7. Had no height, had no speed. I was like, why do we draft this kid? I mean, he don't have the tangibles. But during the regular season, when number 83 was on the field and they called his number, he didn't miss a pass. He caught every ball, whether it was to him, around him, above him, below him, whatever. Or if he had to fight for it, he came down with it. So if CeeDee Lamb misses half a training camp, that gives all these other guys a lot more reps on the first team, including Brandon Cooks. Will get reps as wide receiver number 1, which he's been a 1 his whole career until now. And that protects CeeDee Lamb from getting injured, from having one of those freak injuries, going up for a jump ball, coming down and tearing his ACL like, Diggs did in week 2 last season. And like I said, in 2019, we signed DeMarcus Lawrence almost at the last minute. And then we signed Zeke at the very end of training camp. And I remember them talking about starting the 2019 season and saying if we could beat the Giants, Washington, and Miami and start 3-0, that'd be like found money because Elliott not being in training camp wouldn't be in game shape, and they were expecting the 2018, 2016 Elliott, and we did win those first 3 games, through the air because we're playing horrible teams. But Lamb will get signed. Cowboys like to cost themselves more money in doing it. Why, I don't know. Nobody knows the answer to that question. I'm still mad at the Cowboys to let Pollard go to the Titans. You know what? You're exactly right. I know the Titans paid TB some decent money. But if we're going to bring Elliott back, well, damn it, retain Tony Pollard also. Because in 2022, they were a great 1-2 punch. That running game was very good. Until week 13 when Zeke kind of partially tore his PCL, played the rest of the season on it. And, Elliott bangs the defense, softens up that D-line, and that opens it up for Pollard to hit it for big gains. And in the playoffs, if Pollard doesn't break his leg against the Niners, I think we beat San Fran in that game. But when he goes down, then all we have is Zeke with a partially torn PCL, Lamb, no Brandon Cooks yet, Michael Gallup one leg, had no offense. And you saw Pollard without Zeke averaging 4 yards a carry, with Zeke averaging 5 yards a carry. They were a great 1-2 punch. That's why we need a scat back with speed now. I don't know if that's Rico or who, but, somebody to compliment Elliott's style of play. I'm a Jaguars fan, so don't want to see the Titans get any talent. Hey, all the teams in your division you got to root against them. I don't like seeing Saquon go to Philly. I know that. I don't like seeing Washington take Tyler Biadasz from us, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, and one other cat they took from us and take our defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn. I love what Quinn did for us for 3 years. I don't like what he did for us in the playoff game that we just, came off of, but I hope we rub their faces in the mud the next 3 years, dominate every game, as long as he's our head coach, to where he's like, I'm going to be DC again somewhere else. The strength of schedule this season is a lot more tougher than it was last year. And I think that's going to bode well for us down the stretch. And I keep stressing this point about week 1 at Cleveland. Week 1 could outline the entire season. That's how important. Even though week 1, teams that play in week 1 compared to playing in week 17 are usually different teams. You play in week 1, you're just getting started. When you play in December, you're a different team because, you've evolved through the season, you've made your changes, da-da-da. But a fast start is very important. If Philly didn't get their fast start last year, they would have made the playoffs, no chance. But this is why. Sans the Packers game that, we got blown out in. Nobody saw that coming. AFC South looks crazy this year. Yes, it does. And we have the Texans. I live in Houston. I hated the Oilers growing up and the Texans when they became a franchise in 2002. And when they beat us in their inaugural game, it made me hate them even more. Now, schedule for this year, we have 9 games against playoff teams, opposed to 8 games against non-playoff teams this year. Okay, it's 9 games against postseason teams of last season. Before the Green Bay Trounce, we had 16 wins in a row at home. 16 in a row. Last loss at home was the season opener in 2022 against Tampa Bay. And last season, we were 8-0 at home, averaging 40-plus a point a game at the crib. So that's why I think we came out way too overconfident against the 17 Packers, a team that would have been in the playoffs 4 years ago. Came in way overconfident, thinking it would be a cakewalk, especially playing at home. And Green Bay came out to play a football game, and we didn't. We were so confident that the team had a post-game celebration already planned and choreographed for after the game. That's how they thought it was going to be a walkthrough, and then see who comes to town in round 2. It didn't happen that way, but we have started to get home field advantage, finally, since 2009. When we started playing in Cowboys Stadium, it wasn't home field advantage. It was like a neutral field almost. But now it's starting to become like home field, like Texas Stadium was. 16 in a row. So this season, we have 9 games at home, 8 on the road. Opposed to last season, 9 on the road, 8 at home. So being that we have 9 games at home, and we play very well at home, the first game is on the road. Jinxed it. Hope not. First game is on the road against Cleveland, a playoff team. And that's big because the only road wins we had last season was at the Giants, at Washington, at Carolina, and at the Chargers. No team had over 5 wins. Those are the 4 games that we won on the road against bad competition. In Carolina, super bad. Week 1, we go to Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't have Myles Garrett anymore. No, yes they do. Houston got Daniel Hunter. I'm tripping. Cleveland's tough. And I don't know who'll be at quarterback. If it's going to be Watson, I think Watson has lost his edge in the NFL. But even with Flacco at quarterback or a decent quarterback, the Browns are formidable because they have a very good defense. If we go on the road week one and knock out Cleveland, that would be a huge week one victory on the road against a playoff team of last season. And then that will leave us with 9 home games and 7 away games for the rest of the season. That would be huge. Losing week one would be starting 0-1, still having those road issues against playoff teams or teams with a winning record on the road. Then we have the Saints and the Ravens at home, and then at the Giants. And then what? After the Giants, it's Pittsburgh on the road at Pitt. So week one, we beat Cleveland. I don't care if it's a 21. It's going to be a defensive battle, I can tell you that much. I think Mike Zimmer is going to make this defense better than what Dan Quinn had it. It won't be as many takeaways like Dan Quinn got, but this defense will be more solid, more stout, will allow less yardage and less points. And I will take that any day than more takeaways. And it'll be a defensive battle because the Browns have a damn good defense. I mean, it could be a 13-10 type game. 17-14, something like that. I don't care if it's 20-19 and we win it with a walk-off Brandon Aubrey field goal. A win is a win in this league, especially on the road against a quality opponent. If we beat the Browns week one, get ready for a big season, guys. My prognostication on the schedule was 13-4. I don't see us going any worse than 12-5. I think our absolute basement is 11-6. Our ceiling, I believe, would be 15-2. This team is better than people think. It's just like 2022. Keep going back to that offseason in 2022. We trade our wide receiver number 1, Cooper, to Cleveland for peanuts, 6th-round pick. We let Cedric Wilson, our wide receiver number 3, go, who had a very good year with us that year, gadget player, and played quarterback in college, kicked on the football. Let him walk. So we let 2 of our top 4 receivers go out the door. Connor Williams, we let him walk. Our left guard, he goes to Miami. We're trying to sign Randy Gregory. They don't like the language in the contract. At the last second, the deal falls through. He goes to Denver. Lyle Collins, boom, he's gone out the door. A lot of people didn't believe in Terrence Steele at that time. Even though he had started 2021 for Collins, being that he had a 6-game suspension, Terrence Steele played very good. Greg Zuerlein was gone. We had lost a ton of people in the 2022 offseason, and all we brought in was James Washington, who broke his foot in training camp, and Dante Fowler, a rotational edge rusher. And what happened that season? We go 12-5, 1 game out from winning the division, win a playoff game, and played San Fran. Out of the last 4 times we played the Niners, that 12-19 game was the best game that we played against them out of all 4 of them. That's a game that we could have and should have won had we not had the injuries that we had. San Fran was fully healthy. We were not. If Terrence Steele doesn't go down in December, man, him and Zach Martin moving guys on that right side, Zeke and Pollard are running off that right side with impunity. If Terrence Steele and Tony Pollard are healthy and play against San Fran the whole game, I think that's like a 22-19 Cowboys win. Yeah, I mean, dead serious. And we still only lose by 7 with those injuries. And the 9 games against playoff teams is at Cleveland, week 1, right? Week 3 at home against Baltimore, number 1 seed for the AFC last season. Week 5 at Pittsburgh. Week 6 at home against Detroit. Bye week after Detroit. Week 8 at San Francisco, at the scene of the quadruple murder. Actually, triple murder because 3 out of the 4 times was there. One was at our house. Week 10 at home against Philly. Week 11 at home against an up-and-coming Houston team. Week 16 at home against Tampa Bay. They won the division last year. A lot of people don't remember that. And Week 17 at Tampa Bay. Those are our 9 playoff team games of last year. 4 of those are on the road, 5 are at home. The ones that are on the road will be Cleveland, Pittsburgh, San Fran, and Philly. Now, Cleveland and Philly seem to be a lot more, I would say Pittsburgh and Philly would seem to be a lot more winnable or easier than Cleveland and San Fran. San Fran will be freaking hard for us to win over there in the Bay. But my prognostication had us losing against Pittsburgh after a 4-0 start. Just in a, hard-fought, crazy Sunday night football game. But the 5 games that we have at home against 23 playoff teams, Week 3, home against Baltimore. Now, at home, we play very well, so we keep this in mind. Yes, Kelly, it is a very, very tough schedule. But that means, Philly has it, so does Washington and the Giants. Only thing Philly doesn't have is they don't have the division winners of the other 2 NFC divisions, and they have the Jaguars and we have the Texans. So I hope your Jags knock off the Eagles. That'd be nice. So Baltimore Week 3 at home. Detroit Week 5 at home. A rematch of that cardiac game, 20-19, where Dan Campbell goes for 2-3 times in a row. I mean, you would have thought on the 3rd time, kick the extra point, go for overtime. Jay's schedule was a crazy schedule too. But that's good for them also. Because teams have a cakewalk schedule the whole entire season. Whenever they get to the playoffs, they're not battle tested. This will get us battle tested. Having 9 games against quality opponents, winning opponents. So Week 3, home against Baltimore. Week 5, home against Detroit. Week 10, home against Philly. I think the Eagles will make the playoffs this year. I think they'll be good. I don't think they'll be as good as us. I don't think they're going to make some kind of big jump or leap. I think they're going to slowly struggle to climb out of the pit they fell into at the end of last year. So I've never seen a team start 10-1 and end the season like they did. I've never seen a team slide as bad as they did. And on the way to their 10-1 start, they were barely winning these games. Barely, whether it was against a good team or bad team. Yes, they did beat Kansas City. Yes, they did beat Buffalo. But, I mean, it was by the skin of the teeth or by, the way the ball bounced. And then when they played San Francisco and got exposed, got beat down, then the following week they came to our crib, they got beat down. After that, it was over with. I mean, hell, the Giants beat them. Arizona beat them. It was a monumental collapse. I think Week 10 at home against Philly, we can handle them. Week 11 at home against Houston. I know they got Stephon Diggs and they got Daniel Hunter on the edge now. And Daniel Hunter will be bookending with their number 3 overall pick defensive end of last season. I forgot what that guy's name is. But their defense will be pretty good. C.J. Stroud will have a true number 1 in Diggs with Tank Dell and that running back they have. And, the offensive line is suspect. They do have Larry Tunsil still. Do have Dalton Schultz. It'll be a tough game, but it'll be at home. And the games at home, I give us the edge because we play just amazing at home. In Week 16, Tampa Bay at home, I think we handle Tampa Bay with no problem. The 4 away games on the road, if we can split those, but win against Cleveland. Say Cleveland is a win. If we can make that happen, beat them Week 1 at Cleveland, then at Pitt, at San Fran, or at Philly, win just one of those 3. Preferably against an NFC opponent. Because the more NFC losses you have, the worse it is for the tiebreaker procedure. So Week 1 is a critical game for the tone of the season. Got to beat Cleveland. So leaves playoff teams last year. We can lose to Pitt, fine. Lose to San Fran, beat Philly, or lose to Pitt, beat San Fran, lose to Philly, either one. But can't lose both the NFC road games against those 2 winning teams. Our 8 games against non-playoff teams. Week 2, home against the Saints. Week 4 at the Giants. Week 9 at Atlanta. Week 12 at Washington. Week 13 against the Giants at home. Week 14 at home against Cincy. Week 15 at Carolina. And Week 18 at home against Washington. So we have a very soft spot in our schedule. If you look at weeks 12 through weeks 15. 12, 13, 14, and 15. Washington, the Giants. Cincinnati's no pushover. But it's a team we can beat. We beat them with Cooper Rush at quarterback. And they will be playing at our crib and at Carolina. If we're going to have an away game, one of the 8 at Carolina can't get any sweeter. That's beautiful. And that's Carolina without Brian Burns. Now, the whole season is going to hinge on if Tyler Guyton can handle that left tackle spot at a good level. At least as good as Tyler Smith did in his rookie season. Tyler Smith wasn't, Tyron Smith in 2022, but he played very good. I think he should have been up for Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, at least. He played very good on the island at left tackle. And Tyler Guyton has the intangibles and is dripping potential with his, physical traits to be that dominant type left tackle that we need. And if Tyler Guyton can play just as good as Tyler did 2 years ago, and Cooper Beebe can switch to center, never played a center before, can play as good as advertised and mean as nasty as he is, and they say he is, as physical as he is, next to Zach Martin. We have the best pair of guards in the NFL, 2 all-pro guards. A lot of teams would kill to have the guards that we have. Terrence Steele, 2 years removed from that injury, can be back to 100%. The Terrence Steele that we know, the best run blocking, one of the best run blocking right tackles in the NFL. Then this line will be a run blocking offensive line, which will be so huge because in that case, if we have Zeke at running back 2, Dowdle at running back 3, if we have Zeke at running back 1, Dowdle at 2, and Malik Davis, Deuce Vaughn, or Royce Freeman at running back 3. Well, if your offensive line run blocks really, really well, then your running backs are going to get yardage. They're going to make impacts. And Rico Dowdle has the ability to be a very good back. When he was a UDFA, 3-4 years ago, he made heads turn in training camp. At the combine, you see them run the 40. They look a certain, speed, but then when you see them in game speed, it's different. And Rico Dowdle has a very good skill set. He finally had a healthy season last year. He seemed to get hurt in the offseason every year before that. But I think if Rico Dowdle, and I think this is what the Cowboys are banking on, if Rico Dowdle can stay healthy this season, can stay healthy, that he could be the Tony Pollard type back that we had 2 years ago. The guy that averaged 5 yards a carry and would, knock off them 40, 50, 60-yard runs. Elliott will probably get slightly majority of the touches. Dowdle just a little bit less, and then you mix in a little Deuce Vaughn or whoever the hell. Royce Freeman is basically the same type of back as Zeke. They're both hammers. We don't need two hammers. We just need one. I don't think Royce Freeman will make the roster, probably practice squad. Elliott's still a great pass blocking running back. That's a plus. He's still a great hammer. Has a nose for the end zone. So those red zone woes we had inside the 10 and 5 yard line, Elliott will fix those. Wearing his old college number, the chip on the shoulder, was something to prove. But I would still like to bring on a Cam Akers, somebody else, just to compete at least. Or make the trade, for Herbert from Chicago. He's the running back 3 right now. Had 600 yards last season, almost 5 yards a carry. Bring in one more back and bring in one more defensive tackle. Even if it's Linval Joseph, sign him. It would be a cheap 1-year rental deal. And I think not just one, but we need 2. I would go out and get 2. Get guys that tackle. A lot of people think that Mike Zimmer, will have this defense playing good. This will leave it at that. He'll have Mozzie Smith playing good in the system. They say Mozzie is getting back to the weight that he needs to be at, which I hope is true because he was drafted to be our 1 technique, not a 3 technique. Osa Digizua is a good 3 technique going to a contract year. So look for Osa to have a big season, especially getting after the passer, making plays in the backfield. These remaining free agents, which actually kind of surprise you. Yeah, the top 5 DTs that you can just sign. Linval Joseph is in there. You still got Lawrence Guy. You still have Calais Campbell, Stephen Jones. If somebody can echo this to his ear, Calais Campbell, I don't care if he wants $5 million. Calais Campbell at 38, 39 years old would transform this defensive line. Now you can play tackle or end, but even a defensive tackle, Calais Campbell can clog up that middle. In 2022, at 37 years old, he had a better statistical season in 2022 than all of our defensive tackles combined. That's how good Calais plays. Last season, I thought we'd go after him. I thought he'd be ring chasing because he's made his money. He signs with Atlanta. I don't know why. Kills it last year. He's a free agent now, still unsigned. If he's too rich for our blood, Lawrence Guy. Linval Joseph, it's got to be, a guarantee. He knows Zimmer. He knows the defense. Him and Kendricks can reunite. But we need to get one more guy for tackle. I know in the 7th round, we take that nose tackle. Justin Rogers, something like that. And who knows, he might make a contribution as a rookie. But, we don't know until it's time to play ball. But if we bring on Linval Joseph and just say Lawrence Guy, or, I don't know, Al Woods, Tyson Alua, I know Lawrence Guy can play some ball in the middle also. Sign 2 defensive tackles and bring on one more running back to compete in the room. Deuce Vaughn, I know he's got a size disadvantage, but I really, really hope he develops into a Boston Scott, Dave Meggett, Darren Sproles type back. Because then he could really be big for our offense. Compliment to Zeke. Zeke being the hammer. And then Rico being the slasher back, and then Deuce Vaughn being the Darren Sproles, little jitterbug type back. You know what I mean? Behind a run blocking offensive line, or an O line that can move people. Tyler Smith can move people. Zach Martin can move people. A healthy Terrence Steele can move people. Cooper Beebe, with his streak, can move people. Kelly Keegan, the Cowboys versus Jack Super Bowl would be wild. That'd be perfect for us, Kelly. It'd be super perfect. I'd take that any day of the week, twice on Tuesday. He was a big part of the 2017-2019 Saxonville Jags. Yes, Calais Campbell was. In 2018, y'all made it to the AFC Championship game, had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter against Tom Brady. Got Jalen Ramsey in his third year, who was balling out at cornerback. Calais Campbell was killing it at linebacker. Miles Jack killing it Calais Campbell killing it at defensive tackle. Miles Jack at linebacker. Y'all had a good defense. And a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. Never liked the Patriots, never liked Tom Brady. And, I wanted y'all to win that so bad. He comes back and he beats y'all 24-20, something like that. And then Jalen Ramsey gets all sour and wants to be traded to the Rams. But, yeah, Calais Campbell would be huge. But Linval Joseph at minimum. And, Lawrence Guy, I'll even take Al Woods, another veteran, along with our 7th-round pick, who's a one technique. And if Mozzie fits Zimmer's system like they say, even better. And Kelly, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the sub button. So there's only 5 topics I was going to get into. Our 2 signings, which I think Garyon Conley is going to be much bigger impact than Willie Harvey. I think he has a much better shot to make the team than Willie Harvey. I think Garyon Conley will give us that cornerback depth and play a lot better than people expect. And being that we're not probably going to sign Gilmore back on, especially now that we got Garyon Conley, former first-round pick. Had the Raiders not picked him in 2017, we wouldn't have taken Taco Charleston. So, don't know what could have been, but I think Garyon Conley will have his second breath of life in the NFL and play very good in training camp to possibly starting week 1 if Trayvon Diggs is not 100% ready to go and allow Diggs to work his way back in. Conley, opposite Bland with Lewis in the slot. And when Diggs is good and ready, then you got Diggs and Bland on the outside, Lewis in the slot. Garyon Conley and Kalen Carson as a rookie who's going to make an impact. We're going to have 5 rookies this year that are going to be instant impact players, like we did in 2022. 2022, Tyler Smith, instant impact player. Sam Williams had his instant impact. Deron Bland, super instant impact player. But before week 5, Bland comes in, balls out in the slot. Damone Clark, instant impact player as a rookie in 2022. After week 5, he's ready to go, plays ball. And Jake Ferguson played very well as tight end 2 in 2022. This season, our most likely will be instant impact players. Tyler Guyton will start at left tackle. Marshawn Nealon, I think, will be a hell of a defensive end as a rookie. Will have this style that Tank Lawrence has. Will be able to get to the quarterback, but be a good run stopping all around defensive end. And then Cooper Beebe, starting center, a mauler of a center, instant impact player. And our 3rd-round pick from Notre Dame, he might be, I'm not sure. But the first 3, I think, are, in it. And then Kalen Carson, I think he's going to be an impact. I think he'll get his chance to play ball. And when he does, I think he's going to play very, very, very well. And then I think our 7th-round pick or our 6th-round pick, either that receiver or that nose tackle, one of those two guys are going to make a difference in their first year. Miles Jack wasn't down. Oh yeah, wasn't there a play in that game, in the championship game, where Miles Jack had like a fumble return or interception? He took it back, but they said he was down, and it was like really close. That was a while ago. Uh, I got to run to the store before it closes at 11, guys. I got to shut this down. Keep God first and foremost. He comes before everything, even this. Seek Him and His righteousness, and all these other things will be added unto you. I am a living testimony of that. Chris Gons, welcome, my man. I wish you got on a little bit earlier. There was this one troll that wouldn't stop flooding the chat. Thank you, Kelly Keegan. Yeah, I've got a Rolodex in my head that dates back to the first game I witnessed, which was Super Bowl 28, Cowboys versus Bills Part 2 at the Georgia Dome. We're down 13-6 at halftime. I said one of my first prayers ever, and we come back and win 30-13. And I thought, at 5-6 years old, I thought because of my prayer, that's why the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. That was the first time I ever saw the Cowboys even play a football game. And I don't know, into my soul that night, silver and blue. Since then, I've been a diehard fan. And I was in Houston at the time. My dad hated the Cowboys. He was going for Buffalo. I see America's team run out. I see the blue stars on the helmet. I just fell in love with them, man. I knew football at the time. I didn't know the Cowboys, but I got introduced to them that night. They won the Super Bowl. The following year, San Fran beats us in the championship game. Breaks my heart. The following year, I see Green Bay take out San Fran in round 2. So I'm like, all right, we don't have to play the Niners because they beat us down the regular season that year. And we beat Green Bay in the championship game, beat Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl. I was in 3rd grade. That was awesome. And when the Cowboys had their parade at school, we didn't have no schoolwork. All day we got to sit down and watch the parade on TV. That was kind of fun. I was living in the Metroplex at that time. Just got off work. What's going on with Mike McCarthy now and Jerry Jones? Is it true he is getting sick of Jerry Jones? You know, Chris Goins, I went over that in the video. I think this is clickbait. I think reporters are just writing crap down just to write down, have something to talk about, because there is nothing to talk about in between minicamp and training camp. Mike McCarthy lied to get the job back in 2020. He's had 3 straight 12-win seasons. Mike McCarthy would love nothing more than to go 12-5, 13-4, win the division, get the 2 or 1 seed, make it to the chip game, possibly the Super Bowl on the biggest stage in the sports world. I think all that's crap. I really do. I think it's all crap. People are just making stuff up to talk about, you know. That's why I don't cut videos every day right now, because I can't do that. I can't just come on here and just talk about crap that's irrelevant and that people are making up. Or hypotheticals. Like Heavy.com is saying the Cowboys, should trade CeeDee Lamb to Pittsburgh for a first and a third and a second. That's just, who wants to hear that? It's not going to happen. I mean, we both got better things to do with our time. When I come on, I have things to talk about with actual substance. Love how organized and in-depth you are. Very informative. Thank you, Kelly. That means a lot to me. Cowboys are a big part of my life. Without football season, I don't know what I'd do. So please do subscribe. Help me get to that 500 mark. I'm 92 away. I'm glad you just stopped in, Chris. We're at 59 minutes, almost an hour, guys. If y'all are watching this after it's uploaded, please hit the subscribe button. Cost you nothing. If you don't like my content in the future, you can unsubscribe. Cost you nothing again. Again, everybody, when I hit 500 subscribers, when I hit 500, I will have a 1990 Emmett Smith Rookie of the Year card. Okay? It's not autographed, but it's safe, encased, has been for the longest time. And when y'all help me get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll have a Larry Allen autographed football giveaway. Rest in peace to the late Larry Allen, the best lineman to ever play the game. And like I said, my prizes, my giveaways will be a hell of a lot better than all the other channels. All the other, like Mark Holmes gives away these wooden thing that he makes, and Mike Mike Fisher Mike Fisher could give away some awesome awesome prizes, but they give away these little measly deals. I don't get it. I'm a small timer, right now, and I'll be given better gigs than other people. Is what it is. And I will have a call-in line after I hit 500. So when I start doing live shows and the lobby fills up with a lot of people, like Law Nation's the only one who does it, I'll have a call-in line for people to call in, pre-game, post-game, whatever the topic of the show is, so you can get your voice heard. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be heard and talk. It's huge. I don't know why Law's the only one that does that. He's the one that inspired me to start my own deal. If I knew it was this easy to start your own YouTube show, I'd have done it 10 years ago and had 200 subs by now. But I didn't know it was this easy to do it. I'm not big on technology. I think, Charles, you're right. Everything is clickbait. Cowboys are polarizing always. Head stories. He's got, yeah. Anything that has some, Mike McCarthy. I think the headline for Chat Sports was breaking news. Mike McCarthy fed up with, and then breaking news. Tom Downey upset. Cowboys have made no progress with Lamb. Sports is a company. They have 32 channels for all teams, so they got to put out. But then Mark Holmes, he puts out like 4 videos a day, and he never really talks about anything. If you think about it, what Mark Holmes does, he talks about the same crap, clickbait, that the other people talk about, and it's really nothing. We're really talking about nothing. I don't understand. When training camp starts, we'll have topics to actually talk about things that are actually happening. When the season is going on, we have things to talk about things that are actually happening. The team that we're about to play, injuries, who played well, who played bad, this and that. I subbed. Would love to see you do some takedowns of some other teams too, especially the Jags. Rob. Yeah. This is not just Cowboy talk, Kelly. This is, it's Cowboy. We talk NFL in general. Like Eric Wallace is a regular on this show. He's a Seahawk fan. So we talk, Seahawks sometimes. So yeah, I can talk Jaguars with you all day. I can talk about in 2022 when we were up 17 points late in the second half, and y'all come back and beat us in overtime. Oh man, that game paired with a Green Bay loss is what cost us the division that season. Oh my gosh, can't believe we blew that lead at Jacksonville. What? Chris Gons, what was the score? Chris, you remember 2 seasons ago? 27-10, right? And then Jacksonville hits a deep pass down the right sideline, almost to like the 2-yard line. They punch it in. It's 17-27. We get the ball back. Early fourth quarter, Dak goes a pick deep in our own territory. Jacksonville scores again and gets a field goal before the game ends. So it's 27 all. And then it's third down. We get the ball first. Third down. Dak throws it to, I think, Noah Brown, and throws it behind him. Bounces off his hands into a Jaguars safety, and it's a pick six. It's 33-27 overtime loss. Oh, that was it 41-34? I know it was a pick six in overtime. And I remember I was at a at a local sports bar. I go and watch Cowboy games a lot because I like to be around other fans. And I remember the first 3 quarters, him and I were having a great time. We're whooping ass. We're talking about this and that because we had Philly coming up next. And we're like, man, we knock off Jacksonville. And then if we beat Philly, we'll be number 1 in the East. Da-da-da. And then the fourth quarter happened. And we didn't say a word to each other. We just both left. I was so demoralized. Oh, my gosh. We blew that game. I think we were up 20. Yeah, we were up 27-10. Yeah. If we didn't blow the 28-14 game at Green Bay and the 27-10 game at Jacksonville in 2022, then we would have won. Those two games cost us on the road. Ooh, they were painful losses, both in overtime too. Aaron Rodgers and the Prince, Trevor Lawrence. All right, guys. Please share this content. Kelly, if you got friends, please share this content. Please subscribe, guys. Like and share. I got to run. I will catch y'all guys this week. Y'all be cool, calm, just like my mom with a couple of Valium inside the palm. Nice. Slim Shady, one of the best rappers of all time. Y'all be good. Have a good week. Be safe. God bless y'all guys, and I will see y'all next time. I don't have an exit line. Like everybody has, Law Nation. You were listening to nothing but the best. Mark Holmes, as is. I'm back like I never left. Chris and Kelly, in the next few days, if y'all can think of a good sign-off line for me. So I'm like, thanks for watching. Charles in Charge, Cowboys Sports Report, da-da-da-da-da-da, and then exit. You know what I mean? But how about them Cowboys? You can't go wrong with that. All right, guys, good night. And on 3, 1, 2, 3, how about them Cowboys? Good night, guys.